The story opens in the cold, methodical heart of the Galactic Empire's defense network, Varnix Prime, a massive orbital station guarding the outer edges of Imperial territory. Here, massive sensor arrays sweep the void for anomalies, asteroid clusters, rogue vessels, or illegal smugglers. It is considered the most secure line of early warning in the galaxy. On a quiet rotation cycle, Commander Cyrex Vol, a decorated Imperial officer known more for politics than battlefield experience, oversees operations with the same detached arrogance common among the Empire's elite. He believes this post is ceremonial. Nothing truly dangerous has happened in this sector for centuries. The galaxy, after all, has been pacified under Imperial rule. That illusion begins to crack when a junior sensor analyst named Ryvek Tarn, fresh from the academy, notices a strange blip on long-range scanners. It's not just any anomaly. It's moving with impossible precision, weaving past gravitational fields and artificial detection nodes without triggering alarms. Worse, it's heading inward, toward the Empire's mid-systems, at a velocity just under FTL thresholds, making it hard to detect by standard protocols. Ryvek flags the anomaly, requesting higher-level analysis. Commander Vol brushes it off, insisting it's likely a software error or a rogue satellite. But Ryvek persists, running simulations and discovering a pattern. The anomaly is not only avoiding detection zones, it's using them to mask its route. That level of navigation isn't random, it's deliberate, cut to deep space. The source of the anomaly, the HSS Revenant, an experimental human battleship. Unlike any conventional warship, the Revenant is designed with advanced gravitational cloaking technology, derived from deep space physics and quantum field manipulation. It doesn't simply hide from sensors, it bends the very space they rely on, making it a ghost in the galactic machine. Aboard the Revenant is Captain Dahlia Knox, a brilliant and unorthodox tactician with a past in covert ops. Her mission isn't to attack, it's to test the limits of the Galactic Empire's surveillance net. Humanity, long dismissed as a minor power dwelling on the galactic fringe, has grown in silence, developing technologies and military doctrine far beyond what their neighbors suspect. The Revenant's mission is called Operation Veil Piercer. If successful, it will be the first time any vessel from outside the Empire has reached its inner systems undetected. It's both a show of force and a reconnaissance probe, meant to expose weaknesses and, more importantly, send a message. Back. On Varnix Prime, Ryvek begins compiling evidence that the anomaly is accelerating, plotting a trajectory that curves dangerously close to high-security Imperial sectors. He pushes again for escalation. Commander Vol, frustrated, threatens disciplinary action for alarmism. But Ryvek has already forwarded the data packet to Regional Command. Just as Ryvek is pulled off duty, the anomaly vanishes from their scanners, not because it stopped, but because it slipped past the final perimeter sensor array without triggering a single alert. In his private quarters, Vol begins to sweat as reports come in. A deep space relay station has gone dark, its AI core disabled without any sign of attack. Meanwhile, on the Revenant, Captain Knox receives a status report. Phase 1 complete, Empire unaware, proceeding to Phase 2. The human ship, unseen and unstoppable, has slipped through the Empire's gates and no one even knows it was there. Panic doesn't begin with an explosion. It begins with silence. That's what happens when Relay Station Threx 7, a mid-perimeter communications hub near the Helior belt, goes completely dark. No distress signal, no power failure alerts. Just an eerie void where automated systems should be humming. Within minutes, reports flood into the Imperial command grid. Sector governors demand answers. Local patrols are dispatched, but they arrive to find Threx 7 drifting, intact, yet utterly dead. Its defense drones are frozen in standby. Its quantum AI is inert. Every backup system is intact. No signs of weapons fire. No trace of boarding. Just surgical precision, as if the station had been turned off. For the Empire's military leadership, this is unthinkable. Meanwhile, aboard the HSS Revenant, Captain Dahlia Knox watches the fallout unfold with cold satisfaction. Threx 7 was never the target, just a demonstration, a scalpel to bite to the Empire's pride. Her crew operates in eerie coordination, no chatter, just silent signals and nods. These aren't standard Navy personnel. They're part of Project Veil, a joint command of Earth's military and AI war councils. The crew begins reorienting the ship's vector. Destination: Galadrix, one of the Empire's most vital industrial worlds. The objective is not destruction, it's exposure. Humanity doesn't want war. Not yet. They want the Empire to see the truth. Their walls are made of glass, and Earth now holds a hammer. Back in the Empire, the shutdown of Threx 7 causes tremors at the highest level. The Imperial Intelligence Directorate begins combing through surveillance data. No known pirate faction or rival species has the capability to disable a station like that. The word sabotage is whispered, but there are no suspects. Then Ryvek Tarn, the young analyst from Varnix Prime who first spotted the anomaly, reemerges. Though reprimanded and reassigned, he's now being quietly contacted by a fringe intelligence faction. His initial sensor logs are being reviewed again. This time, higher eyes are watching. Ryvek's simulations reveal something terrifying. Whatever slipped past them was real. Worse, it's likely still inside the Empire. The news reaches Commander Cyrex Vol, who has now been placed under intense scrutiny. With his reputation damaged, he's reassigned to a fast-response tactical fleet and ordered to track and intercept the ghost ship. Privately, Vol is unnerved. This isn't a pirate raid or rebel insurgency. This feels surgical, precise, planned. Across the stars, whispers begin to spread. A ship moved through Imperial space. A station was neutralized without bloodshed. The Empire's sensors, proud sentinels of supremacy, failed to even see it. The Galactic Senate holds emergency meetings, though publicly they deny any threat. Official statements label Threx 7's failure as a freak quantum destabilization, but those in the know begin to panic. Meanwhile, on the Revenant, Captain Knox receives a transmission from Earth's High Command. Mission parameters are still intact, but there's an option to extract. The demonstration is complete. Her ship has proven that humanity can walk past the Empire's teeth without being bitten. But Dahlia Knox declines. She sees something more valuable now. A deeper fracture in the Empire's armor, one she wants to explore. We're past their gates, she tells her crew, standing at the center of the silent, dim-lit bridge. Let's see what else they never thought to guard. The Revenant accelerates toward the Empire's inner core. The trap has been laid, not for conquest but for revelation, and the Empire is still staring at its own reflection, unable to see the shadow now lodged deep in its chest. The HSS Revenant glides into high orbit above Galadrix, the industrial jewel of the Galactic Empire. The planet churns day and night, forging warships, terraforming engines, and planetary shields for imperial expansion. Orbiting Galadrix undetected is impossible, at least it should be. But the Revenant isn't hiding in the shadows. It is the shadow. Captain Dahlia Knox stands at the ship's panoramic observation deck, watching the glowing planet spin beneath them. Hundreds of orbital platforms, defense satellites, and traffic control stations dot the upper atmosphere, but none so much as blink at the presence of her ship. The Revenant's stealth systems, powered by gravitational lensing and active space-time distortion, have rendered it invisible to the Empire's most advanced detection systems. Knox and her team begin Phase 2, infiltration. Her onboard AI, Vanth, dispatches autonomous microdrones, barely larger than insects, into Galadrix's atmosphere. Disguised as debris or maintenance bots, they slip into data centers, command nodes, and comm towers. Within hours, they begin feeding back everything: troop deployments, fleet assignments, even high-level meeting transcripts. This is no longer a test of stealth. It's a heist of knowledge at a galactic scale. Knox's orders were to observe and withdraw, but the opportunity is too rich to ignore. The real battle, she tells her second-in-command Lieutenant Merrill Vance, is for control of the narrative. The Empire isn't invincible, it only pretends to be. Knox plans to broadcast, proof of their infiltration. Not to destroy the Empire, but to shatter its illusion of invulnerability. Meanwhile, on the surface, the Empire remains oblivious until one of the human microdrones makes a critical mistake. It's detected by a patrol in the Virex security complex, one of the Empire's major planetary defense hubs. At first, it's dismissed as a mechanical fault, but when the drone self-destructs with zero trace of origin, alarms are raised. Suddenly, the serene control systems of Galadrix erupt into chaos. Firewalls are triple-checked, security sweeps commence, orbital defenses go into full scan mode, but it's already too late. The Revenant has been parked in their sky for 11 hours, drinking in every byte of strategic data. Panic begins to spread in classified circles. Galadrix's planetary governor demands answers from orbital command. Imperial intelligence descends on the sector, scrambling to find how an alien drone could have reached their most secure planet. Then, the Revenant makes contact. A tight beam transmission is sent directly to the private channel of the Imperial Senate, encrypted in the Empire's own protocol. The message is simple. 5 seconds long, a voice sharp and deliberate. "We were never kept out. You simply never looked close enough." Attached is a compressed file containing satellite feeds, intercepted command logs, and video footage, showing the HSS Revenant sitting in Galadrix orbit, unbothered, unchallenged, untouched. Across the Empire, High Command descends into internal emergency mode. Orders are issued to lock down spaceports, restrict all interstellar movement, and purge any civilian communications arrays. But they are already too late. The galaxy's biggest lie, the invincibility of the Empire, has just been punctured from within. And as Captain Knox watches the surface swirl below, she knows. The real battle hasn't even begun. The Galactic Empire's response to the revelations brought by the HSS Revenant is swift, but chaotic. Panic ripples through the Imperial command structures, exposing cracks in a system once believed unbreakable. As news of the human battleship's infiltration and subsequent orbit over Galadrix spreads through secret channels, the Empire scrambles to mount a coordinated defense. The fleet commanders hastily assemble rapid response squadrons, but confusion reigns. Many units are reluctant to engage in a battle against an invisible enemy they barely understand. The Revenant's advanced stealth systems, based on gravitational cloaking and quantum field manipulation, cause devastating interference among Imperial sensors. Multiple friendly ships accidentally target each other amid the sensor chaos, amplifying the confusion. Reports of ghost targets appearing and disappearing generate suspicion and fear that the Empire may have been infiltrated by unknown forces beyond human technology. Meanwhile, public denial remains the Empire's official stance. Propaganda outlets flood the airwaves, dismissing the incident as a sensor malfunction or localized system error. Officials urge calm, assuring citizens that Imperial defenses remain impregnable, and any rumors of breaches are false and malicious. Behind closed doors, however, the situation is far graver. The Imperial Senate convenes emergency sessions to investigate security failures. Political factions blame one another, accusing rivals of sabotage or incompetence. The Emperor's advisors face pressure to tighten control, leading to whispers of martial law and increased surveillance across all sectors. Within the chaos, Commander Cyrex Vol is recalled from the front lines to testify before the Senate. Though once confident and dismissive, he now faces accusations of negligence for failing to detect or intercept the Revenant earlier. His reputation teeters on the brink of ruin. On Earth, the story is markedly different. The Joint AI-Human Council, overseeing Project Veil, views the operation as a triumph. They debate whether to recall the Revenant or press deeper into Imperial space. Despite diplomatic advisors warning of possible retaliation, military strategists emphasize the psychological impact. Demonstrating that the Empire's mighty defenses can be circumvented is a powerful message. Captain Dahlia Knox, however, refuses to withdraw. She senses an opportunity to exploit the Empire's growing paranoia and disorder. "They're scrambling to patch holes in a dam," she tells her crew. "Let's see which leaks we can widen." Back in Imperial space, The situation escalates, further when rumors of additional human vessels emerge, fueling widespread unease. Minor rebellions ignite on fringe planets, emboldened by the knowledge that the Empire's might is not absolute. In some sectors, imperial governors quietly consider negotiating with humanity, while others double down on military crackdowns. The Revenant continues its silent surveillance, gathering intelligence and waiting for the right moment to strike a psychological blow. Nox orders the ship's systems to broadcast encrypted signals into imperial networks, sowing confusion and distrust among military units. The Empire's own communications become riddled with uncertainty. Who can be trusted when an invisible enemy moves unseen? The fragile facade of the Galactic Empire begins to crumble not from overt attack, but from fear and suspicion within its own ranks. What was once a symbol of unchallengeable power now feels vulnerable, exposed, and uncertain. As the Revenant orbits in silence, Captain Nox looks toward the stars with a quiet certainty. The battle for the galaxy will not be fought with sheer firepower alone. It will be won by those who control the narrative, who manipulate fear, and who strike where least expected. The Empire's shell is fragile, and humanity just found the hammer. The impact of the HSS Revenant's infiltration sends ripples far beyond the Imperial core. Across the Galactic Empire's far-flung systems, a quiet upheaval begins, a silent rebellion fueled not by open warfare, but by doubt, fear, and opportunism. On several remote colonies and border worlds, news of the Revenant's stealth operation is met with disbelief, then hope. For decades, many of these planets suffered under heavy imperial taxation, military occupation, and political repression. Now, for the first time, there is evidence that the Empire's grip is not absolute. Rebel factions, underground movements, and disgruntled governors begin to act with newfound boldness. Smuggling routes open up, imperial outposts are sabotaged, and local militias spring to life. Though no formal alliance exists with Earth or humanity, whispers circulate that humans might be allies or at least catalysts for change. In this growing unrest, the imperial military finds itself stretched thin. Resources once dedicated to expansion and consolidation are redirected toward internal security and counterinsurgency. Patrols intensify, curfews are imposed, and mass arrests become commonplace. Yet the more the Empire clamps down, the stronger the undercurrent of rebellion grows. Back aboard the Revenant, Captain Dahlia Nox monitors the evolving situation with keen interest. While her ship remains cloaked and distant, her crew provides continuous intelligence updates from sympathetic sources within Imperial systems. Nox realizes that while direct confrontation is still premature, this surge in unrest can be leveraged strategically. She initiates Operation Echo, a campaign of covert communications aimed at bolstering rebel morale and coordination without exposing human involvement. Using encrypted broadcasts, coded messages, and subtle interference in Imperial transmissions, the Revenant stokes the fires of dissent without a single shot fired. Meanwhile, within the Empire, political factions fracture under the stress. Some advocate for brutal repression, believing that fear and overwhelming force will restore order. Others push for reform and negotiation, arguing that the Empire's legitimacy depends on adapting to new realities. This internal discord further weakens the Imperial command structure. Amid the chaos, Commander Cyrex Vol finds a tentative redemption. Tasked with leading a newly formed Special Operations Unit, Vol is ordered to hunt the Revenant. But instead of focusing solely on the ship, he shifts his strategy to rooting out internal weaknesses, leakers, sympathizers, and saboteurs who have sprung up in the wake of the Revenant's incursion. Vol's efforts yield mixed results. While some networks are disrupted, many remain elusive, protected by loyal local populations and the Empire's growing paranoia. Vol himself begins to question the Empire's infallibility, haunted by memories of his initial dismissal of the anomaly and the consequences that followed. The Galactic Senate becomes a battleground of ideals and desperation. Debates rage over whether to escalate military action against humanity or to seek diplomatic channels. Yet, no consensus is reached. Time slips away, and with every passing day, the Empire's hold loosens. As tensions mount, the Revenant prepares for the next phase, a subtle but decisive move to push the Empire toward unraveling. Nox knows the Empire will retaliate, but the advantage is in human hands for now. She reflects on humanity's long path, from a cornered species to a shadow in the imperial system. The battle ahead will be fought in shadows, whispers, and secrets, and, in that silence, humanity will roar. The Galactic Empire teeters on the edge of collapse. The silent rebellion that spread from the outer colonies to the heart of imperial space has become an unstoppable storm. The once mighty galactic regime is unraveling from within, and the HSS Revenant remains the ghost at the center of this maelstrom. Captain Dahlia Nox watches the shifting tides of power with calculated calm aboard the Revenant. Months of covert operations, intelligence gathering, and psychological warfare have weakened the Empire's foundations far beyond the reach of its war fleets. Entire sectors have broken away, declaring autonomy or outright rebellion. Imperial governors disappear, assassinated or fleeing, and the Senate's halls echo with bitter accusations and fractured loyalties. The Empire's military, once feared across galaxies, is now fragmented. Commanders like Cyrex Vol fight desperate battles against insurgents, many of whom were once Imperial citizens, but their efforts only slow the inevitable. Internal mistrust runs rampant. No one knows who can be trusted. In this chaos, humanity's position shifts from intruder to kingmaker. Earth's leaders, while cautious to avoid full-scale war, push diplomatic channels to encourage separatist factions to stand firm. The message is clear. The Empire's dominance is over and a new order is rising. Yet Nox knows the final blow cannot come from diplomacy alone. The Revenant prepares for a bold, decisive act, a strike at the symbolic heart of the Empire, the Imperial Palace on Zephyrian Prime. Using the network of drones and rebel sympathizers cultivated over months, the Revenant coordinates a multi-pronged assault. It's not a full-scale battle, but a precision strike designed to cripple Imperial communications, disrupt command, and expose the Senate's vulnerabilities to the galaxy. As the Revenant slips through Zephyrian's orbital defenses, still advanced, but worn thin by years of overextension, Nox's crew launches their assault. Electronic warfare systems blind sensors, stealth drones infiltrate command centers, and coordinated strikes disable key infrastructure with minimal casualties. The effect is devastating. Imperial leadership is thrown into disarray. Communications go dark. Loyalist forces are confused and isolated. In the Senate chambers, panic spreads as senators realize their power is slipping through their fingers. But even as the Empire fractures, Nox knows the galaxy's future remains uncertain. Power vacuums breed chaos, and the factions rising from the ruins are as dangerous as the old regime. The Revenant's transmissions broadcast a final message throughout Imperial space. The age of oppression is over. The galaxy belongs to those brave enough to claim it. In the wake of the assault, many Imperial systems surrender without resistance. Others declare independence or form new coalitions. The Galactic Empire, once a titan, becomes a fractured memory. Back on the Revenant, Nox contemplates the cost of victory. Humanity's path was not one of conquest, but of survival and resilience. By shattering the Empire's illusion of invulnerability, they sparked a chain reaction that changed the galaxy forever. Yet Nox also recognizes the responsibility now resting on humanity's shoulders. With the old order gone, the galaxy faces a new dawn, but also the peril of fragmentation, warlordism, and chaos. The story closes with Nox issuing an order: prepare for peace, but remain ready for war. The galaxy's future is unwritten. Let's make sure it's one worth fighting for. As the Revenant slips away into the stars, the shattered empire fades into history, and humanity steps forward. Not as conquerors, but as architects of a new galactic order.